No, it's the Road to Reno Challenge. And today, the current point leader in the 1996 SCCA title fight comes to Watkins Glen in search of the second leg of this $50,000 title. In second place by a mere 9 points, Tommy Kendall hopes to overcome a less than satisfying Canadian experience, which featured, among other things, a flying hood. That caused him to lose any chance of victory. He finished 8th overall and gave up the point lead to Schrader. Jamie Gallus, now third in the championship hunt, ran well in Quebec until Kendall got a little too close in corner 9, sending the 2-car, the Camaro, out of the lead pack. That incident resulted in black flags for both competitors. It led to Jamie's 7th place finish. But at least the motor problems that have plagued his team all season long didn't make the trip north. Starting from the front row, Scott Sharp looked like the man to beat through the first portion of the race. The number 33 Camaro seemed to effortlessly carry its pilot over the most historic temporary circuit in North America, until a miscue out of turn 5 gave eventual winner Ron Fellows the opening he needed to make the winning pass. Fellows, resting in a disappointing 5th spot in the point chase, dominated the race from that moment on, leaving the rest to fight over the scraps. His win, though, came on the heels of the announcement that Chevrolet would no longer be directly involved in the Trans Am Series, and that his team, the factory-backed American Equipment Racing, would probably be reconfigured for 1997. Talk about a pick-me-up. All that, of course, was then. This is now. Now means that for the 22nd time in its storied 30-year tradition, the most prestigious stock-bodied racing series in American road racing moves to arguably the nation's most traditional road course, Watkins Glen International in upstate New York, for the running of the Serengeti Eyewear Trans Am Classic. The beauty of the Finger Lakes region of New York State, all part of the magic feeling that's been part and parcel of the lore surrounding Watkins Glen since its opening many years ago. This is a place accustomed to sleights of hand, and you can rest assured every Trans Am team here will be pulling every one of their tricks out of the bag, hoping to score a win here today. We're overlooking beautiful Seneca Lake, on the shores of which lies the village of Watkins Glen, where once upon a time they raced through the streets. Now, though, all the action is up on the hill at Watkins Glen International. Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Benjamin. Welcome to our coverage of Round 11 of the 1996 SCCA Trans Am Championship. Just 4 races to go in this season. Those in contention for the King's Crown know this is going to be a do-or-die, get-out-of-the-way, no-holds-barred battle. As my colleagues David Hobbs and pit reporter Derek Daly found out, those still with title hopes know that it's a time to try every trick they have.
The 1996 season got off to a tremendous start for Ron Fellows down at St. Petersburg in Florida, but since then he just had one thing after another go wrong, and the season did not pan out how it was supposed to at all. But last week in Trois-Rivières, everything really clicked into place, Ron. It was a great win. It must have been very satisfying on a number of counts.
Well, for sure. You know, we've struggled a little bit, and the K-Tech guys have taken a lot of heat, but we had a tremendous package under the hood. I can't thank them enough. You know, we've got a bit of momentum, you know, I feel. Minneapolis, we were strong and finished second, and a win at Three Rivers. I'm very confident here at Watkins Glen. We won here the last couple of years, and the car handles terrifically well here. So I'm optimistic we can keep this streak going.
Well, ironically, of course, your new streak of success came just when Chevrolet announced they're pulling out of your team. What about 1997 when Ron Fellows?
I don't know yet. We haven't really had a chance yet to talk to the people at Sunoco and AER and see what they want to do for 97. It's happened right in the string where we've got 3 races, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, that's what Ron Fellows says. If he's saying, he's not telling. Here's more from Derek.
David, lots of last-minute preparations as they fit the onboard camera here to Scott Sharp's Chevrolet Camaro. Now, Scott Sharp is a 2-time Trans Am champion. But, Scott, it's fair to say this season's been a little bit of a struggle, but it almost all came right last week in Canada.
Well, it really did, Derek. I think we've really been gaining some momentum. The crews worked so hard. We really started doing well, I think, at Minneapolis. Got the combination right, and last weekend to lead, and then we had to finish 3rd because of a tire selection problem. But we've been gaining some momentum, and we're excited to finish out the season.
Now, your record at Watkins Glen is exceptional. Lots of poles. You won twice. What does this track require? Is it a special style that suits you?
Well, I grew up here, and it's one of my favorites. I've always seemed to do pretty well. It's a track that requires a lot of momentum. At the same time, it's very abrasive, and you have to conserve the tires a bit. With 10 laps to go, I think whoever has the most tire grip left is who's going to win the race.
David, perhaps his hometown track may yield his first win of this season.
Modern race cars are terribly computerized. They depend on the computer, and of course they have a lot of data acquisition. And here we see Jamie Gallus deep in conversation with his computer guru, Buddy Fay. Now, Jamie, last week we heard the news that Chevrolet might pull out of Trans Am in your team. How's this going to affect Jamie Gallus?
Doesn't affect me too much. I've got my plans all set for next year, and we're gonna make an announcement next week about that. So it's unfortunate for the team, but I'm sure Buzz will bounce back and come up with something, and I'm sure it'll be the right thing to do for him.
Well, the Buzz McCall team went through a bit of a sinking spell in the middle of the season. Have you found consistency now for the last 3 races?
Well, we've been fast and consistent and all that, but we've had some bad racing luck, had some flat tires and this and that and the other thing. So we just need a little bit of luck, and we'll be fine. The car's been fast and consistent, and we've been doing our job. So we just need the gods to shine on us a little, and maybe we'll win this one.
Usual racing story: fast driver, fast car, needs some luck. Derek.
David, as soon as our camera appears, you can see team manager Dan Binks covers up the secrets in Tommy Kendall's All-Sport Mustang. Tommy, 4 races to go, 9 points behind. At this stage, do you go into conservative mode trying to win the championship, or is it still all-out speed?
Well, coming from behind, I've got to let it all hang out, which is how I'd just soon do it anyways. And I have a feeling it's going to go down to the last lap, last race anyways.
Now, if you won here, does the magical name of Watkins Glen make it a little bit more special?
Well, when you talk about sports cars on the world level, you've got Watkins, Glen, Sebring, and Daytona. So to win this one, it's one of the biggies.
It is one of the biggies, and he would love to win this. David?
One key player left in our list, of course, is Dorsey Schrader. Dorsey's the only man that can go into the Harrah's Triple Crown with a chance of winning, having won at Phoenix back in the spring. Does that take away the focus from the championship at all, that $50,000?
Actually, not a bit. No, the money's secondary, David. Right now, we really got our head down. We got 4 races to go here. We got to beat Kendall. We know where we are on the racetrack. Got a good race car. If the 50,000 comes along, it'd be a wonderful thing. But we're not thinking about that right now. We're really thinking championship.
Watkins Glen's one of the oldest road courses in North America. What's the secret to winning here? You won in 1990.
Well, I think the secret here in the past has been longevity. We've seen a lot of attrition here, a lot of tire wear. If we get a sunny day, which we haven't had in a couple of years, tires can be a big factor here. We've seen it before. We got a real fast race car, we know that, but we got to be gentle to it, and we got to get this thing to the finish line and hopefully win.
You've now met all the key players. Let's see how they perform.
Well, no shortage of opinions there, as you would expect. Well, we'll be right back to Watkins Glen. More of our coverage of Round 11 of the 1996 SCCA Trans Am Championship right after this.
Normally reserved for the end of the race, but on the top of Clint Welding's car are 3 bottles of champagne before the race starts, and one of them's empty. Clint, tell us about this ritual of yours.
Well, the 3 bottles of champagne stand for our 3 goals for the weekend. The first one is to celebrate getting the car ready for the race, and as you can see, we have sprayed that, and the car is ready to go into the qualifying session. The second bottle, which will open in about an hour after qualifying, is to celebrate making the field. And the third bottle, which we'll drink, will be after we see the checkered flag tomorrow in the race.
Another team that knows it really doesn't have much chance against the Jack Roush's of this world is the 81 car of Tim and Todd Sprinkle. Now, Todd Sprinkle, you appeared at Cleveland earlier on this year. Do you feel more confident here at Cleveland?
Yes, I do, David. I mean, the Glen is a very good track for me. I feel smooth here. I feel comfortable. We've had some car problems this weekend, but I think we can overcome that and be able to maybe come out a little bit better than we did at Cleveland. I think we'll be okay.
Now, as I said, this is a dad and lad team, and of course, Tim Sprinkle is dad and the owner of the car. Have you got the last say in what the lad does?
No, he kind of has total control once he gets out there. We just kind of let him go and let him do his thing.
And finally, from 2 cars and teams that are definitely underfunded, we come to another car that has just found some new funding, hopefully through the end of the season and maybe for more. Boris said, tell us about your new sponsors.
Yeah, it feels really good to finally get a sponsor. And Lions Pride, they make high-end apparel, similar to what the race teams wear. So anybody that needs some custom apparel, real fine quality, they can call 1-800-59-ROUSH and we'll set them up.
And that's this week's SCCA Paddock Report.
And we are at Watkins Glen International. Glad to have you with us for round 11 of the SCCA Trans Am Championship. Let's show you today's starting lineup here at the Glen. Paul Gentilozzi was the 5th quick qualifier. He and Dorsey Schrader will be on row number 1.
On row 2, we'll have Ron Fellows, last week's winner, and Boris Said with his new sponsorship alongside him in the Ford Mustang.
3rd row will feature the quick qualifier today. Tommy Kendall in his all-sport Ford, and Scott Sharp looking for his first win of the year in that Rain-X Chevrolet.
Row 4, Jamie Gallus looking for his second win of the year, and Brian Simo looking for his first win in Trans Am racing.
Fifth row, one of the great veterans of this series from Alamo, California, Greg Pickett in his Chevrolet, and John Fergus making his second start. He's a teammate now to Dale Feline in the 67 car.
On row 6, we have John Gooding, who is a teammate, of course, to Tommy Kendall, and Dale Phelan himself in his Ford Mustang.
Seventh row looks like this today. Bill Saunders, one of the other Highwaymaster cars, the car number 8. It's a Chevrolet, and Max Lagarde in his Camaro, the 83.
Row 8 is Bruce Nesbitt, who's come sort of out of semi-retirement, his Ford Mustang, and Don Maluzio in his Chevrolet Camaro.
Ninth row, John Miller from Johnson City, Tennessee, in his PLC Direct Camaro. Kenny Bupp from Florida, the 96 car for the Hamilton Safe Chevrolet.
Row 10 is R.J. Valentine, also a stalwart of Trans Am racing, and Bob Ruman in his Chevrolet Camaro, lying second in the rookie points this year.
11th row featuring Bill Eagle from Tampa, Florida, the promotion Chevrolet, the 17, and Craig Schaefer from Canada in car number 39.
Row 12, Charles Webster in a Chevrolet Corvette, one of the few Corvettes, and Dominic Toto in an Oldsmobile, the only Oldsmobile in the field.
13th row looks like this today. Todd Sprinkle, we met him a moment ago in the Chevrolet, and Wayne Pluta in one of the 2 Oldsmobiles today, car number 57.
There you see Frank Chiappettini in the Chevrolet Camaro, and John Halbing also in a Camaro, taking up row 14.
15th row, we've got a big entry list here this weekend. Ted Sullivan in car number 21, and Clint Welding making his first Trans Am start, the 49 car.
Row 16, Chet Williams in the Chevrolet Camaro, and Kerry Hitt in a Corvette. So a very, very big field here this afternoon, and I think traffic is going to play a big part as a result of that. A lot of cars out there, 32 cars out there. There's going to be a lot of traffic for the leaders to weave through.
42 laps, 100 miles of Trans Am racing coming your way. The Serengeti Eyewear Trans Am about to take the green here at Watkins Glen. We'll be back to bring it to start after this.